All right, we're going to be talking about all the things you are. Lead sheet, that is chord changes. I've created an XML file for you to be able to upload into your Smart Music account, which will allow you to have access to all the chords laid out in the lead sheet based off of the 5th edition of the real book. There's other editions that offer some alternate chord progressions and things like that. And just remember that anything is really possible in this, but this is going to get you started. And our goal with this really is to really just kind of get a solid grasp on chord symbols and what they mean, and then how to interpret and apply that information. All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to jump over here, and we're just going to talk about these chord symbols for a second. All right. So chord symbols, right? I want to talk about this chord symbol here in particular. Anytime you see this uppercase M, okay, and a 7, that usually implies that it's a major scale. So you just want to think major scale, and we're going to refer to that as we go through this tutorial here. Anytime you see a 7 alone, all right, so if you see the letter, it could be D7, G7, E7, B flat 7. That 7, what that does is mean to think, I want you to just simply to think of a major scale and lower the 7th scale degree. All right, we give that sound a specific name with a mode and or a scale or a set of notes. But today we're just talking about chord symbols and how we can use those chords to help us construct a spontaneous composition, right? Okay, so all right, now this lower M, when it's coupled with the 7 here, right? The lower M means minor, lowercase means minor. So this is in other words, think major scale and then lower the 7th scale degree and the 3rd scale degree, and that's going to give you a minor sound. Anytime you see the dim, D-I-M, usually has a period after it, right? That's an abbreviation for diminished 7. And or you might see a C minor 7 flat 5. You also might see a degree sign. For instance, it might be 7 like that, and you also might see a slash through that. So the open degree sign, all right, is going to equal fully diminished. The degree sign with a slash through it means half diminished. We're not going to get totally into all of that, so I want to just try and keep things simple. We can go over that another time, or you can look it up on your own. But basically, what is that saying to a major chord? All right, if we're thinking major chord here, major chord, major 7, major chord with a lowered 7, major chord with a lowered 7 and a lowered 3rd. And here we have a lowered 7, a lowered 3rd, and we're going to lower the 5th. When we have the augmented, so diminished also, let's go back to diminished for a second, okay? Diminished means to simply, you're shrinking something. You're making it smaller, right? If I'm augmenting something in music, I'm making it longer, I'm making it bigger, okay? So that means when we see augmented, we could have that could mean a C major scale, for instance, C, D, E, F, G sharp, because this is a 5th scale degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then A, B, C. If you have that C, if you see the 7, what does that mean? Well, you're still going to lower that. You also could see a symbol like this, a C, A, U, G. If there's no 7 there, then you're probably thinking it's major 7, okay? Again, it's going to really come down to interpretation and also sound and choice, all right? I don't claim to be an expert in this, but I know enough to know that it's really going to be, there's no wrong notes, okay? It's about artistic decisions and intent. Sometimes it's even about accidents, right? And sometimes if you make an accident, well, make it a good one, and play it again until it becomes convincing. So now let's actually get to the root of what we're here. Okay, so we talked about the C major 7 being a C major chord, right? Or a C major scale. So we're gonna build a C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. No sharps, no flats. We're not transposing, so this can be your major scale. All right. Now, as we go on to base our chords off of this, we're gonna really focus on this first scale degree, the third scale degree, the fifth scale degree, and the seventh scale degree, and that's going to create a sound like this. And I'll pull up the piano so you can actually see it as well. This might take a second. There we go. All right. So here's our C major scale. Now if I play the root or the first scale degree, the third, the fifth, seventh. All right, cool. Now let's go on. So if I chose to then, if I see a C7, we're going to keep the first. Whoops, let's get rid of that. Gotta get the right pen here. We're going to keep the root and the third, the fifth, and the seventh, right? And this is 8. If you're thinking scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. 1 and 8 are the same note. Same thing with 2. If you see a 9, well, think 2. If you see, so 9 would be D, right? If that makes sense. So that's another conversation for another time. Right now, we're just going to focus on these notes, okay? So we've got the root, the third, the fifth, the seventh, and the octave, 1 or 8. But we're also going to lower, right? We're now going to lower the seventh. So let's listen to that. Let's listen to that one more time. Dig that. All right, let's go on. So if we see a C lowercase m7 or a C minus 7, this is interchangeable. I'll even put or C minor 7. Okay, we're going to again have the same root. We're going to build off our major scale. We're going to build root, third, fifth, seventh, root octave, right? Then we're going to also lower the seventh and lower the third. So we get these sounds. Okay. And let's go to the piano. One more time. Dig that. All right. Now let's scroll down. We've got C diminished 7 or C minor 7 flat 5. So let's take our major scale, build the root, the third, the fifth, which is G, seventh, B, C. We're going to lower the seventh. That's the 7. That's the lowercase m or the minus sign. And here's where the dim or the flat 5 comes in. So now let's listen to that, right? Root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. And let's pull up the piano. Again. Cool. Now, let's scroll down just a little bit. Get to the augmented, right? So again, I want you to think of C major scale, but we're gonna get that out of here. Root, third, sharp 5. Remember, we're making it bigger. We're expanding these intervals, okay? B, C. So let's listen to that. One more time. Cool. All right. So now let's get back to all the things you are. You'll notice in this lead sheet, what I've gone ahead and tried to do is just I've outlined all the chords so you can see how they are associated with your instrument. We can walk through this more in class, but I highly encourage anybody who's really wanting to get into improvisation. One step, I'm not saying this is the step. There are so many different ways to go about this. But I think part of it is understanding the form, right? So you'll notice that each one of these sections here is separated by a double bar line. So that's the first 8 bars. I've put measure numbers on each one. And I highly recommend actually practicing the chord changes with this. I've added accidentals on every single note. So when you see this F, if you're thinking F major scale, F, well, in an F major scale, you have an A natural, but now there's an A flat. C, F major scale would have an E natural, but the 7 makes it a flat. So hopefully you can see that. So let's just listen to this. And I encourage you to actually maybe practice. And it's if you don't have the range for some of these notes, then move the notes down or up an octave or down an octave. It's all interchangeable. So let's listen to this. As we went through that, I realized there is a couple mistakes in there but we'll be able to talk through that and work through it. And that's actually a good teaching device so that we can kind of get more in depth on how these symbols work and all that stuff. So if you have any questions about this video, please let me know. And I'll be happy to help you out. All right. Foaming out.